The following is a rebroadcast of Oklahoma's News 8 at 10.
You are watching Oklahoma's Channel 8, KTUL TV, Tulsa. And now, Oklahoma's News 8 at 10. Coverage you can count on.
Here's what's happening tonight. A surveillance camera captures the carjacking in progress. We'll look at the high price people are paying over cars.
Two major sporting events coming to Tulsa at the same time may mean there's not enough room at the end.
And after tonight's 2020, how many lawsuits are being filed by Oklahoma prisoners and how much they're costing all Oklahoma taxpayers?
Good evening, I'm Charles Ely.
And I'm Carol Lambert. Here's what's happening in Oklahoma tonight. Two Oklahoma teenagers paid for a ride in a stolen car with their lives.
Police say the car hit a utility pole and burst into flames. Police say the 15 and 16-year-olds stole a car and then sped off from a convenience store without paying for their gas. People who saw the wreck tried to rescue the teenagers, but the fire was too intense. Police say the victims may have lost their lives for less than $2 worth of gasoline. This has been a tragic week involving teenagers and stolen cars. Sunday, a 17-year-old was shot several times in the face during an attempted carjacking. He was sitting in a car at a North Tulsa convenience store. Police arrested 3 Oklahoma City men and a teenager for that crime. The victim remains in critical but stable condition tonight. If you were in your car and someone put a gun in your face, what would you do?
Well, more drivers are facing the carjacking scenario, and one driver's ordeal was actually captured on videotape.
Take a good look at these 3 teenagers. A security camera watched as they stood around outside a department store at a suburban Washington, D.C. mall. But just minutes later, one of them pulled a gun from under his shirt and walked up to a woman just pulling in to stop.
Within my mind, I said, I'm going to do what they asked me to do. And that was to get out the car, and I just said, let me get my baby. Let me get my granddaughter.
The victim stared down the barrel of the gun. She got to the child and fled. The teenagers took the car and made their getaway. Police were surprised at their age and their daring.
We are pretty amazed that it didn't seem to really bother them during the time before or pretty much during the crime. It seemed as if it was another day at the ballpark for them.
The woman's car was recovered and the teenagers were arrested.
Well, the woman and the child were unharmed, but obviously quite shaken by the ordeal. A deadly shooting at an abortion clinic leads our world news tonight.
A doctor and a security guard were killed. The doctor's wife was wounded. A man with a rifle opened fire outside a Pensacola, Florida clinic. Another doctor was killed there less than 2 years ago. The doctor killed today was known to wear a bulletproof vest, but it didn't save him. The suspect is the leader of an anti-abortion group. He shouted, "It's time to defend the unborn."
A judge set a September 19th trial date for O.J. Simpson. That came during a hearing on motions. Meanwhile, a self-described burglar claims he saw 2 white men leave the crime scene at about the time of the slayings. Police are investigating.
U.S. troops are now heading to Rwanda as part of a humanitarian mission. The Pentagon emphasizes the troops will be limited to securing an airport for humanitarian flights. The first 200 personnel could be arriving in Rwanda this weekend.
President Clinton is calling out the Marines to help fight wildfires in 9 western states. The fires have burned hundreds of thousands of acres. Tens of thousands of weary firefighters are battling those blazes. A World Series for 13-year-old baseball players in Broken Arrow has run into some problems, not on the field, but in finding enough rooms for all the visiting teams and their parents.
The reason is the baseball series is being played at the same time as the PGA golf tournament. Bill Mitchell joins us now from the Newsview Center. And Bill, how is the hunt for space going?
It's been tough. Not for the kids. All they think about is baseball. Their World Series gets underway August 4th. 6 days later, the PGA begins. And so does the scramble for rooms.
All right, hey, guys, just take them over to first, all right?
This is a field of dreams for the Broken Arrow sportsmen. They've worked hard, these 13-year-olds, to represent Oklahoma in the Continental Amateur Baseball Association World Series. Now, says Brandon Ford, that hard work is paying off.
Yeah, big time.
You sound excited.
Yeah, can't wait.
Brandon and his buddies will now get the chance to play teams from all over the world. For them, this is big-time baseball.
This is the chance to play with Puerto Rico, Brazil, Guam.
These kids are real good. You'll see some kids in this tournament that'll be playing in the big leagues.
But this field of dreams has turned a little nightmarish when you try to figure out where to put 500 kids and their families during the PGA.
Okay. Thank you.
Kevin Taylor says he spent the last 3 weeks scrambling to find rooms. It hasn't been easy.
I've got some in Muskogee, a few in Wagner, and we're making do with what we got.
What they've got now is enough rooms for the players and their fans through August 10th. That's when the PGA begins. After that, it'll be another mad dash as organizers try to keep this field of dreams from turning into a real nightmare. So far, no real nightmares. Kevin Taylor says hosting the World Series for the 13-year-olds will put a lot of money into the local economy. They have plans to host another age bracket World Series next year in addition to the 13-year-olds. And hopefully next year there'll be plenty of rooms for them.
Bill, and what kind of help do these organizers need at this point?
Well, basically, they need about, more host families. That's the big thing right now because you get the kids from Guam and they want to stay with families. The kids from Guam said an interesting thing. They want to do some American things, like go to the shopping mall and talk to girls, so they'll have a good time.
Also be driving the freeway to get to their room. Thanks a lot, Bill.
Well, another World Series for boys baseball teams in Florida had a similar problem.
However, the solution for one group of Little Leaguers was rather unusual. When a team from Venezuela found a motel mix-up that left them without rooms, they took what they can get. To their surprise, the only rooms left in town were at a nudist camp. While the other guests were asked to be discreet, there were some encounters.
We had a couple of people come up and go swimming, and the kids really accepted. They just not. I really think they'd like to try it.
Well, their coach says that's out of the question. His team did take 5th place in the tournament. However, when they go home, they'll have more than baseball to talk about.
Tell you what, Travis has this kind of shocked look on his face. What about that story, Trav?
Astonished, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't quite handle that. We'll have to go to Eufaula is all I can say and talk about things that are kind of exciting local.
None of that nudism down there.
That's right. Just the pigs. They're not doing too well tonight as they get ready for barbecuing tomorrow. We are looking at some fantastic weather, though, as we head on into the weekend. Let's take a look at our first forecast for the overnight hours. Partly cloudy skies, mild. There's a less than 20% chance of a thunderstorm towards sunrise, but not much of one, if any. And temperatures running from the 70s down to the mid-60s. Still nice. Now the complete weather weekend outlook coming up in just a little bit. Back to you.
Thank you, Travis.
All right.
Well, people in Eufaula are looking for good weather for their whole hog day, and later we'll see what's involved in the big festival.
And next, how much money Oklahoma taxpayers are spending so that prison inmates can sue us.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 8 at 10 with Charles Ely, Carol Lambert, Travis Myers Weather, and Sports with Bob Healy.
Swenson sells for less. I repeat, Swenson sells for less. You'll save more than ever before during Swenson Chevrolet's Carnival of Savings. Now through Saturday, Zero Down delivers any new or used in stock, like 93 Sunbird's Final Closeout. Zero Down, only $159 per month. This Saturday, test drive any new or used and receive 4 tickets to a Driller's game or half-gallon of ice cream. Huge savings are yours because Swenson sells for less. I-44 at Memorial. Call 663-2300.
Edna and Earl here with some really big news from Furniture Factory Outlet.
Hey, Tulsa, Furniture Factory Outlet, 1916 South Sheraton, has lost their lease. $350,000 in first-quality furniture will be sacrificed regardless of loss. Living rooms, dinettes, bedrooms, and more, price to go. All locations are celebrating this super event with drastic reductions in every department. Shop around and see how much you'll save during the Tulsa Furniture Factory Outlet's Lost Lease Sale. Open 7 days a week. Special financing available.
It's the exceptional sales event at your Mazda dealer now. For a limited time, Mazda is offering 4.75% APR financing for 36 months with no down payment and no payments for 90 days. This exceptional financing offer is available on any new Mazda car and truck you buy, on top of additional incentives on most models. This offer ends at midnight August 2nd, so get to the Mazda exceptional sales event right now.
Macaroni Grill. All the Italian you need to know. Public notice, the TAW is back to reduce the remaining 94s before the 95s arrive. Over 1,000 vehicles have been made available to Riverside Chevrolet in Tulsa. Every car, every truck, every conversion van, new program and used must be sold. Save up to $15,000. Get on the spot financing. Choose from hundreds of Chevy trucks, extended cabs, and 4x4s. Conversion trucks, TAW sale price at $299 a month. Hurry, Oklahoma. Don't miss the TAW stock reduction sale to make room for the new 95. Save thousands now at Riverside Chevrolet, I-44 in the river.
Tonight, 2020 looked at prison inmates who sue the state. The so-called frivolous lawsuits are clogging the legal system and are costing taxpayers thousands of dollars. Well, it's the same case right here in Oklahoma.
Mike Jones has our News 8 Extra, Does Crime Pay?
This is the man who filed case number 94C-120B.
Now, why did you file for lawsuit? Because that was the only way that I could get my case aired.
Nelson Brown is serving a sentence for burglary at Connor Correctional Center in Hominy. He wants a judge to restore his good time credit. Brown sees one of 321 inmate lawsuits filed so far this year. And look at the explosion of these lawsuits over the last 4 years.
4.5 attorneys times 40 hours a week working on inmate lawsuits.
The state's chief litigator says it's costing Oklahoma taxpayers more than $250,000 a year.
We have little choice. We have to respond to every case. We have to presume that each case could blow up into a full-blown case where we're going to have a trial and maybe be assessed damages for the state.
They're not appeals, that's the other growing category. They're complaints about prison conditions, about grooming and food and religious customs. Suleiman Ansar Rahim is a Muslim.
And for the last 3 weeks, I have been denied my religious right to wear the white for some reason or another.
The worst suit I ever had, it was just absurd, was the guy sued because he was 15 minutes late getting to the law library.
Not only does the Attorney General's office have to answer these lawsuits, it also has to help these inmates file them by providing a law library and law clerks.
Well, it's very frustrating. It's a very expensive, labor-intensive, exhaustive process to have to deal with them. It takes a lot of staff time, a lot of energy, especially when you think that in terms of a lot of the types of lawsuits that they file, that they, I guess the most popular word to be termed is that they're frivolous lawsuits.
Is yours frivolous? No, mine is not frivolous. I wouldn't file it if it's frivolous. It's not. You don't go to court just to file because you're mad. You don't go to court to file to get even. You go to court to file to get your rights.
The prison provides the forms. Inmates fill them out without a lawyer, typing them or writing longhand like Rahim, keeping the Attorney General's office busy.
Although these cases, for the most part, seem senseless or frivolous, you have to remember that we're talking about constitutional rights that we all have. If you start taking away the rights of the inmates because it looks frivolous, it's hard to draw that line where those rights are going to move over into you and me.
99% of the inmate lawsuits are thrown out. Brown is also asking for money damages. He might get his good time credit. He won't get the money. Mike Jones, Oklahoma's News 8, Hominy.
Now, to reduce the number of inmate lawsuits, the Oklahoma Attorney General is asking the Federal Justice Department for help. They want the feds to require inmates to go through the entire prison grievance process before they can file a lawsuit.
Well, two of Tulsa's most popular radio personalities are supposed to be partners.
So what were they doing duking it out? We'll find out later on. Good news. Ouch.
The big question for the weekend is, will we see a lot of lightning like this and thunder and rain? Or will we have a nice one? My forecast is coming up next.
These stories and more still ahead on Oklahoma's News 8. Coverage you can count on.
A lot of dealers talk about having the largest inventory, the biggest selection. At Don Thornton Ford, we got to be Oklahoma's #1 Ford dealer 5 out of the last 6 years by having the best selection. Jeff Bass, Don Thornton's inventory control manager, spends 10 hours a day researching, ordering, and then lining up over 700 Fords on the lot with the perfect equipment and colors you say you want to drive home. Having the best inventory and the no-hassle, low-price guarantee is the reason Don Thornton Ford is Oklahoma's #1 Ford dealer.
Observe! Incredible acceleration! Exorbitant! The all-new Diamond, only at Frontier City. It's revolutionary!
have 3 boys and 1 girl, and they think it's great. Mommy works at Walmart. I've always loved working here at Walmart. I feel that being involved with the community so much teaches our children that we're all here to make life good for everybody. Walmart, I think, tries to strive for that family unity and that family values. They really care about the family.
Acura's slogan says some things are worth the price. So we tested the $14,000 Nissan Altima XE against the $39,000 Legendary S, and the Altima out-cornered it, out-slalomed it, and out-accelerated it. So while some things are worth the price, evidently the Altima is worth far more than the price. Lease an Altima for just $229 a month or $750 down, or get 2.9% financing.
Sharpshooter. When you see severe weather or spot news happen, record it on your home camcorder and send it to us. If we use it, you'll become our sharpshooter. Only on Oklahoma's News 8. Coverage you can count on.
Hey, Trav. I'm down here fishing at Lake Eufaula. What's the weather going to be like this weekend?
Oh, man. I tell you what, wouldn't that be nice? Hopefully, it's going to be great. And it looks like he should be able to enjoy a near picture-perfect weekend. We have a little things we're going to throw in there just for good measure, just because it's weekend. He's having a good time, and I'm going to have to be working. Besides that fact, let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have going on tonight. A weather snap, beautiful weather snap. Jennifer and Jonathan Drake from the Tulsa area. And look at this, guys. Isn't this quite the explosion?
That's pretty.
That is. Chuck, what do you think that is?
Atomic bomb?
That's what it looks like.
It does, doesn't it? That is a cumulonimbus. And that is always associated with thunderstorm activity. You see the anvil as it starts to spread out once it loses basically its power. But again, a beautiful shot in the distance. They said they could see lightning striking out of it during the course of the time they were driving toward it. So again, beautiful shot. Let's take a look and see if it's beautiful weather. In the foreground it is 73 degrees, Tulsa International, all the way down to 66 at Jones Riverside Airport. We're finding 76 degrees here at Oklahoma's Channel 8. So again, the humidity value is still pretty pleasant. We're finding that sitting at 64%, dew point at 60, southeast winds at 5, pressure presently rising. Taking a check and finding out what's been going on, the air quality, mold's been high. It's been almost 4,000 during the last 24 hours. Pollen was very low, air quality 43. That's good. No ozone alert for the weekend, the way it's shaping up right now. As far as what we're looking at in temperatures, well, today it was up to 122 degrees in Death Valley, California. Record heat was across portions of Nevada and also into Utah, where temperatures are 90s, near 100 degrees there. They don't like that type of heat, and even though it has been that way for the past week, it looks like they're going to have to put up with it for a while longer. We're still enjoying great weather, 80s and 70s across much of the eastern parts of the country. As far as what we're looking at now, temperatures have dipped down into the 60s and low 70s, just about all areas. A few mid-70s coming in, and kind of a variety as well. Of course, down whole hog days, and you follow it. Right now, 75 degrees. And of course, tomorrow is when they're going to have all that barbecuing going on and all that smoking going on with some of those whole hogs. At least they're whole hogs yet as of tonight. But as we take a look at the 4D satellite picture, we're looking at a couple of storms out to the west. It could change the philosophy a little bit of some folks spending outdoors during the course of the weekend. Some big storms out in West Texas. These storms aren't severe, but there are some heavy rain. And you see how they're traveling from the north almost down straight south. We had a few high, thin clouds here in the Tulsa area earlier, but those have kind of disbanded a little bit, so we're going to call it fair to partly cloudy. As we take a look at the big picture, you can see storms down the southeast, and then also those storms out in West Texas. Quite a bit of rain with them, but again, not really into the Oklahoma picture. We're going to call for an isolated storm, maybe out in central or western Oklahoma yet tonight, because it's a pretty strong wave that's curving down to the south. Right now, it looks like a great evening across our area. The storm's out to the west. It's been a hot afternoon, as we told you, out to the west of us, and stormy to the east with this cold front. Remember, this is the front that came through that gave us all of our great weather for the last couple of days. And still tomorrow, more mild weather across the region. The steamy weather continuing to be off to our south. More storms out in the Rockies. Temperatures for tomorrow, generally, again, in the 80s. This is incredible. And as we head on into Sunday afternoon, still nice, a little bit warmer, upper 80s to near 90, and a few isolated thunderstorms, not out of the question. Here's a look at our forecast. We're heading into this good-looking weekend. Mostly fair and isolated storm possible out in central Oklahoma. 70s to mid-60s. As we go on into the morning hours, fair to partly cloudy skies. Still mild, 60s, light southeast winds. During the afternoon, partly sunny skies, still great. Look for highs anywhere from the lower to upper 80s. We'll be about 85, 86 most areas. Light southeast winds. 5-day planner looks like this. Gradual warming back up into the July season. But hey, July's over. It's time for August on Monday. So we're going to start August off pretty much near normal, just a few degrees below, with a few isolated storms possible. Nothing too exciting, but at least August might get a few isolated storms. And our only chance, 20% or so over the weekend. And they'll be just really widespread, or isolated, I should say. So
it's been a pretty amazing July, Travis.
It has. From June to July. Now we'll see what August holds in store for us.
Probably
just wait.
Back up.
Yeah.
Had a good time at Eufaula today. Let's hope the rain leaves them alone.
Isn't that the truth? We thank a lot of the folks that are out there, and they're going to have a great time tomorrow. Hope they have a chance to go out and enjoy that.
Good deal. Thanks, Trev.
All right.
The best Oklahoma high school football players are showing their stuff tonight. Bob Healy has the East-West highlights later in sports.
And up next on our news check, is it easier to get around on a city bus? We put them to the test.
No money down on all 94s in stock and no payment for 60 days. While other dealers are closing out 93s, only Classic Chevrolet Geo in Owasso gives you 94 program cars at no money down and no payment for 60 days. 94 Corsicas, 94 Cavaliers, no money down, only $196 per month. 94 Euro Luminas or Caprices, your choice, just $13,986. Keep your cash for summer fun. No money down and no payment for 60 days on all 94s. Only Classic Chevrolet Geo, 86th Street North and 169, only in Owasso.
You tackled some naked guy and you fell down the steps with him?
That's what they pay me for, Roseanne.
It's over.
What would you do if Dan just demanded that you give up the house and the job and the kids? Okay, bad example. Are you insane? Do you know how many years I had to put into Dan? You think he came out of a box like that?
Tonight at 10:35.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not here merely to remind you that Lincoln Mercury dealers are selling more cars than you are. I'm here to blame you.
Maybe if you made quality cars like Lincoln Mercury, we'd be able to match their summer deals. Right, guys?
The Lincoln Mercury Summer Sales Drive is on now with great deals across the board and a great luxury of choice with generous values available on all Lincolns.
Any more questions?
See your Lincoln Mercury dealer today.
Confused about who really has the best prices? Surprise! It's the new Mount Warehouse. An energy-saving Roper dishwasher with 2-level wash for just $1.99. Whirlpool large-capacity washer and dryer with 3 temperatures, $6.79. KitchenAid 18-cubic-foot refrigerator with free ice maker, $6.29. Seeing is believing. Compare prices on all the latest models of appliances and electronics at Mount Warehouse.
Hundreds of people have taken advantage of the demand NAFTA has created for used cars in Mexico by cashing in their old used vehicles for brand new or program cars and trucks. The Mexican buyer is still paying up to double for trade-ins, but time is running out. $500 vehicles could be worth $1,000. $1,000 trade-ins could be worth $2,000. The Mexican buyer only has a few days left before he heads south, so don't miss out. Bring your trade-in to Keystone Chevrolet Geo right now. Open 24 hours a day on the Keystone Expressway in Sand Springs.
Our news check of stories from earlier today shows why some bus routes in Tulsa may not be all that handy.
Cindy Bear put one route to the test on 8th on your side. Now, Cindy boarded a city bus at 81st and Lewis at 11:05 this morning. Her destination, Woodland Hills Mall. When did she get there? 10 after 1. Why? Because all city buses must go first to downtown Tulsa. Now, MTTA's director, Mark Pritchard, says the downtown requirement is just a carryover from the past that doesn't always make sense now. A citizen committee is now helping MTTA design faster, more efficient routes.
He's being hailed as a McHero, but what he did could have been dangerous. A McDonald's restaurant worker in Oklahoma City stood his ground with a robber who had a shotgun. Now, the employee threw a quarter pounder with cheese at the guy who was trying to steal money from the drive-thru. The food apparently frightened the robber. He drove off, but not before grabbing some cash.
A Main Street parade kicked off Whole Hog Day in Eufaula. Charles and Travis were there at 5 and 6 to bring you live reports from the annual festival. Tomorrow, there's a pancake breakfast, a Russ to Riches car show, and then at 5, the free hog sandwich giveaway begins. Whether it be volleyball, street dancing, or just good barbecue, Whole Hog Day has it all. Whole Hog Day, by the way, started back in 1984 to drum up traffic.
Tonight's Family Health has new information about AIDS. A new study shows that disease may not be quite as frightening as first thought. British researchers followed more than 100 men who'd been infected by contaminated blood transfusions. Like this man, many go for years without developing that disease. In fact, 25% of those infected lived at least 20 years without symptoms. So if someone tests positive for AIDS, it is not an immediate death sentence.
All-State Week finishes with football.
And Bob Healy tees it up again at Southern Hills. Our PGA course close-up is next.
Public notice, the TAW is back to reduce the remaining 94s before the 95s arrive. Over 1,000 vehicles have been made available to Riverside Chevrolet in Tulsa. Every car, every truck, every conversion van, new program and used must be sold. Save up to $15,000. Get on-the-spot financing. Choose from hundreds of Chevy trucks, extended cabs, and 4x4s. Conversion trucks, TAW sale price at $299 a month. Hurry, Oklahoma. Don't miss the TAW stock reduction sale to make room for the new 95s. Save thousands now at Riverside Chevrolet, I-44 in the river.
When many congressmen have gone to drink with lobbyists in the evening, this is where you can find Dave McCurdy and Pam. The McCurdys have been married 23 years. Pam is a doctor who specializes in children. Dave is a congressman who grew up around Yukon and was taught by his working parents to earn his own way. His values, hard work, and leadership on welfare, military affairs, and spending limits have won him national respect.
Amen.
Isn't this the kind of man you want to represent Oklahoma in the U.S. Senate?
Take it to the streets, Oklahoma, and look for the Big Tent.
Hey, chill out during the summertime sell-down sale.
Crow Brothers and Jim Norton have put up the Big Tent. You'll buy your tag on a new truck with just $191 down, $191 a month. Look for the biggest selection and the lowest prices under these Big Tents.
Get a cool deal on some Hot Wheels.
$191 a month, and we'll buy your tag on a new truck.
Bear Meadows is giving you an opportunity to honk if you love horse racing. It's the Coke Extra Horsepower Quinn Chrysler Plymouth Neon Giveaway. We'll give one car key away each night from July 28th through August 6th. That's 7 chances for you to win. On the final night, someone will put in their key and race away in a new Quinn Neon. Entry forms and details at Wendy's. Post time 6 p.m.
Question. Name America's #1 selling minivan. What minivan is around 16 with all this and is only at your Dodge dealer? Answer, Dodge Caravan. So go get the family. For all the answers, see your nearest Dodge dealer. Question. What car changed everything? What truly remarkable car comes at a price you can afford and only at your Dodge dealer? Answer, Dodge Intrepid. I'll bet you knew that. For all the answers, see your nearest Dodge dealer.
PGA Course Close-Up is brought to you by Liberty Tulsa, member FDIC.
Now, Bob in sports, and Bob, I like the other stuff, but there's something nice about the time of year when we start to see these football games again.
Well, I figure with the baseball strike just around the corner, just start thinking about football now.
True.
Because baseball's probably out the window for at least a few weeks, maybe longer. All-State Week wrapped up tonight with football. The University of Central Oklahoma, the side for the East and West showdown. The East had won 3 of the last 4 meetings. That's Carson Fields of Webster, goes up the middle and gets banged right there by Mitch Boyles of Douglas. Now, here's a kid that's an OU signee, Dusty Lovelace, a blue chipper from Norman. Hate to see him hurt a knee in an all-star game like that. The East quarterback, Cody Elwood of Morrison, where they play 8-man football, fumbles, but there's Carson Fields to pick it up for the touchdown. Right now, it is 7-2, the East leading in the 4th quarter. This was the last chance to see the Drillers tonight. Tulsa wrapped up their homestand with the El Paso Diablos, and the Turtles were there. The Turtles were there. 3rd inning. The Drillers down 3. Terrell Lowry goes the opposite way. Almost a diving catch. 4-2 Diablos. Then the Drillers chip away some more. Desi Wilson with a single. Another run scores. Dick Uriel with a 9th inning home run, and Tulsa wins 6-5. American League scoreboard, Texas leads California 5-3 in the 8th. KC's won 7 in a row. Boston over Milwaukee. The AL's top 2 teams, Cleveland and New York. The Yankees a winner. Oakland over Detroit. And Chicago leads Seattle. To the National League we go. The Cubs in St. Louis, already 3-0 Chicago. Steve Bichelle rips a shot to right center. Langford goes back and runs into the wall. Can't get it. A triple for Bichelle. A run scores. The Cubs win big 8-3. Also, Montreal over Florida, 8-4. New York beats the Bucks 2-1. Atlanta 5 and Philly 2. Well, it looks like Paul Azinger will be back to defend his PGA championship at Southern Hills. That's good news. After 7 months of battling cancer, he'll play for the first time at the Buick Open. That's next week. At Meadowbrook, Texan Jeff Fehrenbrook, the defending champ, has done it again at the Oklahoma Junior Classic. Fehrenbrook ran away from the field, winning by 9 shots over Union's Michael Boyd, who finished second. And tonight we tee it up on number 6 at Southern Hills as part of our PGA course close-up. A par 3 with plenty of trouble. Number 6 at Southern Hills is a short par 3, 175 yards. More than anything else, the constant changing wind will cause club selection problems for the players. Hook a tee shot and a creek on the left side of the green will find your ball. The ideal tee shot will be short of the green for an uphill putt.
Well, we got a 175-yard shot. I would say 6, 7, 8 irons, depending on the wind, will be the norm. It's a very shallow green, as you can see, with some good pin placements that'll take advantage of the bunkering. We do have some fans on this green for air movement. During the summer, it kind of stagnates and the airflow is not very good. So as a precautionary measure, we put fans on the green, and they're doing a great job, and the green's in good shape. Our best pin placement, most difficult pin placement, will be over here on the left side, behind the sand trap, and that probably is where we'll see the final day pin placement, I would guess, either here left or here on the right.
Classify number 6 as a definite birdie opportunity for the players. Tomorrow it's on to number 7, a par 4, 382 yards with a blind tee shot. As you can tell, Dave already knows where the pin placements are going to be, because if a PGA guy comes in, he says, we're going to put them here, here, and here, this, and this day. So
do they get tougher as you go along?
They don't try to make the course too tough. They want to make it challenging. But what'll happen is they'll have a bunker there, and they're going to put a hole right behind the bunker, you know, basically to protect it. So
good stuff. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you.
July in Oklahoma can be very, very hot, but that's why there's an ice festival. Coming up, we'll see one of their more unusual events.
And up next, we'll get the first look at stories making world headlines tomorrow.
You're watching Oklahoma's News 8 at 10. Coverage you can count on.
I'm Bill Thompson. We at Liberty Bank are pleased to be a corporate participant at the 1994 PGA Championship. Millions of television viewers and thousands of visitors will discover what we have always known. Oklahoma is a place of scenic beauty, full of friendly people with a real zest for life. These are just a couple of reasons that Liberty is proud to be Oklahoma's bank.
Moody's Jewelry announces their annual Christmas in July sale. All of Moody's fine diamonds, gold chains, watches, and more drastically reduced. Listen, all gold chains, 1/2 off. All diamond study rings and solitaire pendants, 1/2 off. 1-carat diamond tennis bracelets, regular $699, now $399. You can lay away your selection till Christmas when you shop this spectacular Christmas in July clearance extravaganza at all 5 Moody's stores. Moody's, where quality makes the difference.
Have you ever actually seen a car with the starting out price? You know, that low price that gets you to come on down today, only to find they just sold the last one. Guess you'll have to look at a more expensive model. Darn. Not at Fred Jones. When we say large selection, we mean large. Like over 200 Ford F-Series pickups, all with an honest, haggle-free Fred Jones price that doesn't mysteriously change when you get here. True blue Fred Jones. Leave the bait for the fish.
Closed captioning on Oklahoma's News 8 is brought to you in part by Cleartone Hearing Aid Lab and Audiology Clinic and by Tulsa Regional Medical Center.
What stories are we going to see this weekend in the Tulsa world?
Phil Harper joins us from downtown with world headlines tomorrow.
Hello, everybody. If you're a retired federal employee due a tax rebate, don't panic. The check is in the mail, or soon will be. The state hasn't forgotten. It takes a lot of time to write 75,000 checks. Every bank has ATMs, or automated teller machines. State Bank and Trust now has ATMs. They're fighting back. They're making their ATMs anti-theft mechanisms. And Gary Pontius is doing what 35,000 other Americans are doing. He's waiting for someone to die before he does. we'll tell you about people waiting for an organ donor. That's some stories making headlines in this weekend's Tulsa World. Back to you, Carol and Chuck.
Thanks a lot, Bill. Now on to Travis for a last look at that weekend.
I'm thinking whole hog here, big time.
Suey pig.
That's right. Let's take a look at that 5-day planner as we head on into the weekend. Looks great. Temperatures will be in the 80s. We do have a slight chance of thunderstorms both Saturday and Sunday, mainly late night and early morning chances. So that's the good news for the middle of the day. For those of you who want to be out on the lake having fun, doing just about anything should be good.
I liked your little whole hog weather forecaster. Did you bring it?
Yes, it is. It's back in the weather office. We're going to keep it around, make sure we get the right forecast.
He's there on the computer.
That's right.
Bring him out tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, our good news tonight asks the question, what do sumo wrestling and polar bears have in common? Well, they were both in the spotlight today at the ICE at the Williams Center. KBEZ morning personalities Pat Croblin and Steve Smith don their sumo wrestling suits to benefit the zoo's new polar bear exhibit. Representatives from the zoo were on hand to accept donations for polar care. Now, this match was pretty entertaining, and you have to hand it to Pat on this TKO. But Steve was declared the winner. So Pat's the one who will be delivering ice to the polar bear pond.
We know them. I think I might have bet on Pat. She's pretty rough.
I think she did a fine job.
Good competitors.
Steve just had a little more weight behind him.
There you go. We thank you for joining us. Be sure to get up tomorrow with Good Morning Oklahoma, the Saturday edition at 8 o'clock. I'm Charles E.
And I'm Carol Lambert. Tonight we salute you Follow's Whole Hog Day. Good night.